So my partner and I decided to look for an apartment about April 1st, 2022. And don't mind my dying plant over there. We're just gonna ignore that. So we wanted to find a 2-bedroom apartment for us because my partner is an artist, so he wanted an art room. And if there was a possibility for an office for me, then that would be great. And as you can tell, I'm already in my office, which is great. So this journey was kind of like a roller coaster ride. It would kind of test my intuition and my trust. Yeah, it definitely tested me in a couple of different ways, which we will go through, and then you will know how you can manifest your own apartment as well. So we started looking for an apartment essentially like 2 months before. So we were like looking for quite some time, and we were getting a little bit frustrated with the process because like essentially in my past, like it was super easy for me to just find an apartment. It never took long. It was like I kind of just stumbled upon the apartment, and so it was quite simple for me. And so I thought it would be the same this time around, but it was kind of complicated. So we set up viewings to see a bunch of different apartments, and honestly they were they were not great. I'm just gonna put it lightly. Like, they were not great. They were always so small. Like how do you have a 2-bedroom apartment? It's like the size of a shoebox. Like, honestly, like that's what we found all the time. It was like, oh, this apartment looks great when you're seeing it in pictures, and then you get there and it's so tiny, and then you're like, how do I fit anything in here? Like you guys, we went to see one place, and the bedroom that they had, so it was a 2-bedroom, and the 1 bedroom that they had, I don't think could even be a closet. Also, you couldn't even fit a bed, like a twin size bed in there. And I'm like, how can you ever, that's just a tiny closet. It's not a bedroom. If you can't fit a bed, a twin size bed is not a bedroom. And so then we went to see this one apartment, and it was kind of in the beginning of the journey. And so we went to see this one apartment, and like, it was good. Like, there's nothing really wrong with it. But I remember when we left that apartment, I was so angry. And I didn't know why I was angry. And I sat with it for like a week, and I was like, and we were like thinking of like putting, like getting the apartment. We're just like, do we get it? Do we not get it? Like we tried to negotiate the price. So we were kind of in the midst of like, okay, we might get this apartment. But I was like, I just had this angry feeling inside of me. I was like, I had to tell my partner, I was like, hey, like, I don't know why, but anytime I think of this apartment, I'm just angry. And so what I learned after that was that my intuition was like literally screaming at me and telling me that that wasn't the apartment for me. It just wasn't the one. And thankfully I had enough sense at that point to be like, okay, this anger is probably telling me something that I need to know, and maybe this isn't the apartment. And so we decided not to like go through with it. Also, I think a really hard part was the fact that I was kind of in a fear-based mentality at that point, because I was like, oh my god, what about if we don't find the apartment that we really want, and like we're running out of time, and there's just like, I was so scared and so fearful the fact that we might not find the apartment that we actually wanted. And I had to deal with those feelings in those moments, and that was really kind of scary for me, because I was like, I could just do the easy thing and we could just get this apartment. And then like I wouldn't have to like sit here and be like, oh my God, if we don't find an apartment, we're screwed because we only have this amount of time. So I had to like kind of really sit with those feelings and like journal about it and like really understand where those feelings were coming from and understand that it's okay. Like worst scenario is that we don't find a place, but you know, there's always things around that and stuff and we could figure it out. But I can't like live in a place that wasn't for me. And that was hard. And I had to like really tell those feelings to my partner and be like, hey, this is like how I'm feeling. And thankfully he was like, hey, like don't worry, like we're gonna find a place. And so like I had to really let go of those like fears and worries because I tend to worry a lot. And so I think that was really beneficial for me, was like to actually get like when those triggers came up and like really sit down and deal with them and feel them and not go to, you know, the safest solution for me, which was getting that apartment that made me feel angry. So then after that, we started looking at more and more apartments again, and the apartments were actually like getting better, which was good. And so I knew that I was kind of getting closer, and I always feel like that apartment that I was just angry about was kind of like a test. And once I sort of like passed that test, things got like a lot easier. So then we kept seeing apartments that were better and better, that were closer to what we wanted. And like we weren't looking for a lot, but I think like we just wanted a bigger space and like a nicer kitchen and maybe some like nice appliances and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, we had like a list of things that we wanted for our apartment, and if they weren't 100% there, then we were willing to like let those things go as well, because like the way the apartment made us feel was like a lot more important. And like when I got clear on things, it was like what I said to my partner was like, I want an apartment that we are immediately in love with and that we cannot like we have to get it in that moment. Like we have to, and we're like committed to it, and we're like, oh my God, like we need this apartment. And that was like, I was going for more of the feeling. And anytime you kind of like want to manifest something, I think like getting clear on what you want and having a list is really good, but also knowing the feeling that you want, I think is even more powerful than that stuff. So I got really clear on how I wanted to feel. So we found the one. So we went to see this apartment that we found listed that said it was 1,200 square feet. Immediately we were like, what? Like that's a lot of square footage. So we got pretty excited. And so we went to see this apartment like after work. And it was a really cold night. And we end up staying outside on the porch for almost half an hour in the freezing cold, and then would end up being like an hour just waiting for us to see the actual apartment. And we're like, is this a red flag? Like what is actually going on here? Because like the person who was going to show it to us was late, and then they forgot the keys, and then they had to get the keys from someone else, and then we were just like it just sounded so crazy that we were just out there absolutely freezing cold, just waiting to see this one apartment. And we're like, is this too much? Like are we not meant to see this apartment? Like what is going on here? So we end up finally finally getting the keys to go and see the apartment. And we open up the door and the living room is literally, because we were like 1,200 square feet. Are they lying? Like, what is going on here? But we literally go just into the living room, and the living room is like already like the size of 2 massive bedrooms. Like, it is so big. Like, the first time I went into that apartment, I was like, the first thing I said was, what? I couldn't believe how big this living room actually was. And then we started walking through like each room and each other room and every room, and it was like this like other big room and this other big room and this other big room. And I will show you what it actually looks like. It was just like, I was like almost losing my mind. I was like, how does this apartment actually exist? It was like the perfect size. Like, we needed a lot of room. It was the perfect place. Like, we were near like a beautiful park. Like, it just like everything was exactly how I wanted to feel, which was that immediate, like, I need this apartment. Like, we were both like, this apartment is so perfect. And like, so like when we left, both of us were in the car and we were just like, oh my God, we need this apartment. We need it. And there was like someone else who had already like, was like in the process of getting this apartment. And we're like, we need this apartment. There's no way. We have to start now. And so luckily we did everything and we did it quickly. And like, it all kind of worked out and we actually got the apartment, and we were just so happy. We were like, we couldn't believe like, it was crazy how everything happened. But I have to say, it happened that way because I got really clear and I didn't settle. And usually I'm like, yeah, I'll totally settle. Like, I'm just being honest. But this process really taught me, like, don't settle for less than you deserve. And that goes with everything in life. Like, don't settle. Like, I got like this like test in the beginning and I could have easily taken that apartment, but thankfully I was like, no, that like doesn't feel right. And when something doesn't feel right, you just know, like, that sign was like anger for me, that you need to listen to that. Don't go for something that like is not making you feel good. And that again goes with everything in life. So I knew like that feeling was not right, and so that wasn't the apartment for me. And then I had this like amazing apartment that like made me feel amazing and I absolutely loved. So like, you can always tell when something is right for you by the feeling you are having inside your body. So always go with that feeling. So that's like always number one when you're manifesting something, is get like really clear on what you want to feel. And that will be your starting point in knowing what is right for you and what is wrong for you. And like, get clear, like have that list as well. I know like I had a list of stuff, and the apartment that we currently have, like, I think it was like a dishwasher, like it doesn't have a dishwasher. And like, what, like, who cares? Like, those things you can like figure out ways to like, get like, say like a dishwasher that goes on the counter or whatever. There's always ways, but like, once you find the one, you like go for it. Like, who cares if it doesn't match everything on your list? But like, know by that feeling that that is right for you. Okay, so let me kind of break it down in the easiest way, which is like 1, 2, 3, like these are all the things that you need to do when you're manifesting an apartment. So number 1 is to get really clear. Get really clear on what you want. Otherwise, you're gonna like not know what you want, and you're gonna find these places and you'll be like, is this the right one? And like, you know what I mean? Like, no, like get really clear, know what you want. Number 2 is just to feel the feelings. So do what I did. I felt the feelings of having it before it actually came to me. I knew, and I was again clear on what I wanted and how I actually wanted to feel. I wanted to be like, oh my God, this is the actual place, and I actually like felt it in my body. So it's really important that you feel how you want to feel before the actual thing has come and has manifested into your life. Number 3 is to always listen to your intuition. No matter what, it is always leaving clues for you. So for me, it was like the clue of like getting triggered and having that anger response to one of the apartments that I saw. And I had to like listen to my intuition and not override it. Be like, it's telling me something, it's giving me a sign here, and like really listen to that and like not give in, because like it can be very easy, but to really listen to that and then like just move forward and know, really importantly, is to know that that thing is going to come and trust it, like really trust, and then move from a place of having that trust and that faith. And that's number 5, is just trust. Trust the process, trust yourself, know that that thing that you're going to manifest is going to come, and do all those steps beforehand so you can like really trust and be very clear on what you want, and like know that it's going to come. So have that trust, have that faith. I think I mixed up the numbers, but whatever. You get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows what number I'm on right now? Let's say I'm on 5, 4, 4 or 5. So one of those. And remember, you deserve the best. So just don't settle. Really get clear. Manifest what you want. Know that you can have it. Trust. And remember that you deserve it. Because you do. So hopefully these things made it a little bit easier for you to manifest your dream apartment, and hopefully these things can sort of help you figure out like really what your way is of manifesting, and there's some clarity around that. And like know from my scenario that you can have what you want, and you can have your dream apartment. You will get it. You just have to have that trust and that faith. So go out there and like get really clear and know what you want, and you will manifest it. Trust me, you will manifest it. So let me know in the comments if you've manifested your apartment yet, okay? See you guys.